Welcome to our deep dive into the 7 deadly sins: pride, envy, gluttony, greed, lust, sloth, and wrath. For centuries, these potent words have echoed through the halls of human history, whispered in hushed tones and preached from towering pulpits. These sins have been a part of human culture and religion for centuries. They represent the darker aspects of our nature, the temptations that can lead us astray. But are they still relevant in today's world? Join me as we journey through the labyrinth of human fallibility, exploring each sin, not just as ancient dogma, but as a reflection of our modern struggles. Pride. It's a peculiar thing, isn't it? The quiet whisper of self-importance that can morph into a deafening roar, blinding us to our own flaws. Pride is often considered the root of all other sins. It is an excessive belief in one's own abilities, a conviction that we are somehow better, smarter, more deserving than others. This sense of superiority can manifest in countless ways, from the subtle arrogance of a dismissive glance to the blatant self-promotion that alienates those around us. But pride is a cunning beast. It can also disguise itself as ambition, as a relentless pursuit of achievement that leaves no room for empathy or compassion. We become so fixated on our own goals, on reaching the summit of our own making, that we trample on the aspirations of others along the way. The ancient Greeks called it hubris, this overreaching pride that inevitably led to a downfall. And history is littered with cautionary tales of those who flew too close to the sun, their wings melted by their own inflated sense of self. Think of Icarus, his youthful ambition ending in a tragic plunge into the sea. Or the towering ambition of those who built the Tower of Babel, their aspirations scattered by a confusion of tongues. But pride's destruction is rarely so dramatic in our everyday lives. Instead, it erodes our relationships, leaving behind a trail of broken connections and missed opportunities for genuine connection. And so, we must ask ourselves, what is the cost of our pride? Is it worth sacrificing our relationships, our empathy, our ability to truly connect with others on the altar of self-importance? They say envy is the thief of joy, and how true that is. Envy, that insidious whisper that takes root in the fertile ground of discontent, whispering that we are somehow less than, lacking something that others possess. Envy is the desire for others' traits, status, abilities, or situation. It's that gnawing feeling in the pit of your stomach when you see someone else achieve what you desire, own what you covet, or embody qualities you wish you possessed. It festers within us, poisoning our thoughts and relationships. We scroll through curated lives on screens, comparing our reality to the carefully constructed facades of others, forgetting that everyone carries their own unseen burdens. The danger of envy lies not just in its ability to steal our joy, but also in its power to drive us to destructive behaviors. It can manifest as passive-aggressive comments, attempts to sabotage others' success, or a bitter resentment that corrodes our own sense of self-worth. But perhaps the most insidious aspect of envy is its ability to blind us to our own blessings. We become so fixated on what we lack that we fail to appreciate the unique gifts and opportunities that life has bestowed upon us. Breaking free from envy's grip requires a conscious effort to shift our focus. It means cultivating gratitude for what we have, celebrating the successes of others, and recognizing that our journey is not in competition with anyone else's. Remember, the only comparison that truly matters is the one we make between who we are today and who we aspire to become. Gluttony. The image that often springs to mind is one of overindulgence, of tables piled high with food and drink, a scene of excess and waste. Gluttony is an overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste. But the insatiable hunger of gluttony goes far beyond the realm of food and drink. It's a hunger for more, a relentless pursuit of excess that can manifest in every aspect of our lives. We live in a world of instant gratification, bombarded by messages that tell us we need more possessions, more experiences, more. And so we consume, often mindlessly, accumulating possessions that fail to fill the void within. But the emptiness remains, and so the cycle continues. We become slaves to our desires, our lives cluttered with the detritus of our insatiable appetites. The true cost of gluttony lies not just in the waste it generates, but in the toll it takes on our well-being. Overindulgence in any form, whether it's food, possessions, or even information, leaves us feeling depleted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from what truly nourishes our souls. True fulfillment, it turns out, lies not in having more, but in appreciating what we already have. It's about savoring the simple joys of life, cultivating a sense of contentment, and recognizing that true abundance comes not from material wealth, but from the richness of our experiences and connections. Greed, a word that conjures images of miserly figures hoarding their wealth, their hearts cold and hardened by the relentless pursuit of more. Greed is the desire for material wealth or gain, ignoring the realm of the spiritual. It's an insatiable hunger for more, a belief that happiness and security lie in the accumulation of possessions and wealth. But greed is a treacherous trap. The more we acquire, the more we crave, and the emptiness within only grows wider. We become enslaved to the pursuit of wealth, sacrificing our relationships, our values, and even our own well-being on the altar of material gain. The consequences of greed are all around us. It fuels economic inequality, environmental destruction, and a culture of competition that pits us against one another. The antidote to greed is not poverty, but rather a shift in perspective. It's about recognizing that true wealth lies not in what we possess, but in the richness of our relationships, the fulfillment we find in our work, and the contributions we make to the world around us. When we let go of the need for more, we open ourselves up to a world of abundance, an abundance of love, connection, and purpose that no amount of material wealth could ever buy. Lust, a word often whispered in hushed tones, laden with a sense of forbidden desire and transgression. It evokes images of passionate encounters, of desires that consume us, body and soul. Lust is an intense desire, usually for sexual pleasure, but it can also mean a lust for power or other things. But lust in its purest form is about more than just physical gratification. It's about a craving for intensity, a hunger for experiences that make us feel truly alive, but like a flame that burns too brightly, lust can quickly consume us, leaving behind a trail of destruction in its wake. When we become enslaved by our desires, we lose sight of our values, our commitments, and even our own sense of self. The pursuit of fleeting pleasures can leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled, our connections with others reduced to transactions of desire. The key to navigating lust's treacherous terrain lies in finding a balance between passion and restraint, between indulging our desires and staying true to our values. It's about cultivating a sense of mindfulness, of being present in the moment, and recognizing that true intimacy comes not from fleeting encounters, but from deep, meaningful connections that nourish both body and soul. Sloth, a word that conjures images of laziness, of days spent in idle pursuits, a life devoid of ambition or purpose. Sloth is the avoidance of physical or spiritual work, but sloth is more than just laziness. It's a state of apathy, a lack of motivation and enthusiasm that seeps into every aspect of our lives. It's the voice that whispers, "Not today," the voice that tells us to choose the path of least resistance, even when we know deep down that it leads to a destination far different from the one we truly desire. Sloth manifests in countless ways. It's the procrastination that keeps us from pursuing our dreams, the fear of failure that paralyzes us into inaction, the indifference that allows our relationships to wither and fade. The danger of sloth lies not just in the opportunities we miss, but in the erosion of our spirit. When we fail to engage fully with life, when we allow ourselves to become passive observers in our own existence, we lose touch with our passions, our purpose, and the very essence of who we are. Breaking free from sloth's grip requires a conscious effort to cultivate a sense of engagement, a willingness to embrace discomfort and step outside our comfort zones. It's about rediscovering the activities that ignite our passions, setting meaningful goals, and approaching each day with a sense of purpose and intention. Wrath, a primal force as old as time itself. It burns within us, a fiery inferno fueled by anger, hatred, and the desire for revenge. Wrath is extreme anger and hatred towards another person. It's a righteous fury that demands satisfaction, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. We've all felt the sting of anger, the way it can cloud our judgment, turning us against those we love, leaving behind a trail of broken relationships and shattered trust. But wrath's destructive power extends far beyond our personal lives. It fuels conflicts between nations, ignites violence in our communities, and poisons the well of human discourse. The challenge with wrath is not to suppress it entirely, for anger can be a powerful catalyst for change. It's about finding healthy ways to channel that energy, to transform rage into action, and to address the root causes of our anger rather than lashing out at the symptoms. It's about cultivating empathy, practicing forgiveness, and seeking understanding rather than retribution. For in the end, wrath consumes not only its victims, but also its perpetrators, leaving behind a wasteland of brokenness and despair. The 7 sins, a mirror to ourselves. As we've journeyed through the landscape of the 7 deadly sins, we've seen how these ancient concepts remain strikingly relevant in our modern world. Understanding these sins can help us recognize and avoid them in our own lives. They serve as reminders of the pitfalls that await us, the temptations that can lead us astray from our values and aspirations. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful content. May we all strive to live with greater awareness, compassion, and a commitment to becoming the best versions of ourselves.